I'm getting a fat ass. Guys, don't do it like me. Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place for badass bitches. This is the promised story time about my BBL in Mexico. And the demand for this video was beyond more than what I would have thought. I thought maybe like 2 people would want to hear this, but literally everybody who commented on my last video, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Everybody wanted to hear about this, so here it is. But first I gotta say, I'm so staggered that the response for my last video was so good and welcoming, and I just wanted to say that I feel very, very relieved. And before we jump in the story, disclaimer. I'm telling this story so others who consider getting surgery, especially in a different country, don't have to make the same mistakes as I did. If anything, this is the official guide on how not to do it. Because trust me when I say I have better things to do than embarrass myself on the internet. But if this helps someone, then I gladly will. If you're just here to hear the tea, grab your favorite drink and feel entertained. Let's start from the very top. How did I find the surgeon? Basically, I just asked all the girls at my club who had it done where they went, and majority of them went to the same one located in Tijuana, Mexico. So I went there. The surgery cost was $3,800 US, if I remember it right. And I think in the US, this procedure costs around 8,000, 10,000, but I don't know since I never done any research on this. Mistake number 1, always do your research. I remember the day I made the deposit of, I think it was $350. You have to make a deposit first to lock in the date of the surgery. The day I did that was actually a day after a bad night at the club. And when I say bad night at the club, I'm talking like $200 bad. It was a bad night. And as an emotional person in general, the fluctuation of income in this field of work can really influence your emotional stability. So looking back, you could say it was somewhat of an impulse buy. Mistake number 2, don't do surgery on impulse. If you want to get something done, and I say this about tattoos as well, about big tattoos, wait 1 year. If you start thinking about getting something, wait at least 6 months, but better 1 year, and make sure you really still want it after a year. So after paid the deposit and I locked in my surgery date and my consultation / blood work test date 1 month prior to surgery, I went to the blood work test, and from then on I had a month until surgery, and that month I actually spent back home in Germany. And in that time, I tried my best to gain weight with weight gainer shakes and by eating as much as I could. It was torture. I don't usually eat beyond my appetite, and having to do that just felt so backwards to me. And I just remember feeling sleepy all the time, and just my skin was bad. It was just, it was not nice. The day of surgery came closer and I flew to LA, spent a few days there, and then flew to San Diego, which was the closest airport to Tijuana. And from there I took a shuttle bus from the surgery center to go to the hotel. This is a day before surgery. First off, let me tell you, if you get surgery in a different country, please make sure you take somebody with you who speaks the language. I went there by myself. Everybody only spoke Spanish, and my Spanish goes as far as una cerveza, por favor. Ay, papi, mucho caliente. Bailar para dinero. Basically, I don't speak Spanish, okay? Thank God the front desk lady / nurse / assistant, she spoke English. Also, I'm pretty sure if I would have went to a consultation for this in the States, they would have turned me away, because I was actually too small to get lipo for common sense, you know? Like, you could have done it, but I feel like most surgeons would have said, no, it's not worth it. But it was a cash grab for them. Anyways, here I am in my room alone, making sure I'm not eating or drinking after 6 p.m. taking some last bathroom mirror selfies, since the next day I'm getting my very first anesthesia and my very first surgery in my life. I wish I could show you all these photos from that time, but a few months after this, my phone got stolen and my iCloud wasn't backed up, so I lost 1 year worth of photos from my life, all completely gone, erased. Moving along in the story, it is now the morning of surgery, and I actually don't really have any memories of my emotions for that time, probably because my mind stored it as trauma and tries to close this chapter and not reopen it all the time. Guys, don't do it like me. The night before surgery, they had gave me, I think, half a Xanax so I could sleep better, because most people get a little bit nervous. And the morning of surgery, I think they gave me another half a Xanax. And we go into the surgery room. And of that, I actually have like no memories at all. I only have like imagination. I imagine this is what it must have been like. So we go into the surgery room, and I remember just being super chill, not nervous at all. And they tell me to take off my robe and stand there and spread out my arms like this, because they had to wash me down with this red brownish fluid called iodine. Yeah, it's antibacterial, so like no bacteria is on your skin and stuff like that. And they washed me down with this, with a cloth and stuff, and I remember just standing there smiling, happy as hell, because duh, I was on drugs, just smiling and standing there like an idiot. Then they lay me on the table, and this moment is really the only thing like I really remember. They lay me on the table, and for some reason they ask you some couple questions, and I guess they do that to like check your consciousness or whatever. I really don't know, but the nurse, front desk lady or whatever, she asked me, what surgery are we doing today? And in my mind, for a split second, I panic, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a joke, right? They're kidding me right now, right? Are they serious? But instantly, my answer to this is a BBL, the stripper surgery. I'm getting a fat ass. This is exactly how I said it, guys. I'm not making this up. Like, this is exactly how I said it. So they laugh a little bit, and then they asked me if the little bit of fat that they actually can take out of me, if I want it in my hips or in my butt, because honestly, it probably won't be enough for both. So they had to ask me that. So I told them, make sure that my hips are good first. That was my first priority, because for me it was more about the shape of my body rather than the size of my butt. And then I said, I know it's not much, but take everything. Just take everything. Take everything. Guys. So they laughed a little bit, and then next thing I know, they put this mask over me, and I closed my eyes, and next thing I know, I was gone. When I woke up in a room by myself, I was confused AF. I think it was like late afternoon, and I kept falling back asleep. At some point, the nurse came in and brought me some food, like some snacks and some apple juice. And then after a while, she told me that I need to get up and get in the shower and rinse off my body, and then put the faja on, the compression garment. And also she advised me to eat a little something, even though I didn't feel like it, but she told me it would be better for me. So I'm getting up out of bed. I look myself in the mirror, and first I was like impressed by the new shape I had, but at the same time, whoa, I was covered in bruises. That shit was serious, like whoa. I think seeing that right after waking up, that was trauma itself. I took a sip of apple juice, and shortly after that, trying to get in the shower, compressing this picture of my body in my head, I threw up 4 times. 4 times. And for someone who has extreme fear of vomiting, this was just the most horrible part of this whole procedure. You have to imagine, I come out the shower, I'm trying to rinse myself, but everything hurts, but everything is numb at the same time. It just doesn't really work, and you keep leaking. You have like all these incisions in your body that keep leaking all kinds of fluid mixed with blood, and it just won't stop, and oh, it's just terrible. So I tried to put on this garment and it was the most painful thing. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. This was the most painful moment in my entire life. They say that childbirth is the most painful procedure that women endure. But let me tell you, after this, no thanks. No, absolutely not. So here I am standing there crying of pain, trying to put this garment on and throwing up on my sheets all at the same time. Man, this was so horrible. I'm over it now. That's why I'm sounding like I'm joking about it. My way to cope with trauma is to make jokes about it. After my faja is on, I run into the next issue. I had booked my flight back to LA later on that same day, like the day after surgery. Why did I do that? Don't ask me. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Mind you, I never had surgery before, so I had no idea I would feel that awful. For some reason, I never imagined it to be such an awful experience. Anyways, I look up in my emails and see the flight got canceled. Also, I would have missed the flight anyways because I kept falling back asleep and woke up randomly. I think that night I actually ended up staying at the surgery center in that same bed. But I really don't remember this. I just think that this is how it must have been. The next morning I woke up and I had to figure out how to get back to LA. When it comes to figuring shit out, I always figure shit out. So the next best thing was to take a bus. The shuttle service from the surgery center drove me to the bus station, which was also I think in San Diego or some close city. And on the way there we went to the pharmacy to get all my prescription meds, the pain medication and the antibiotics, and then we get to the border. And when we got to the border, the officers gave me somewhat of a hard time. They looked at my German passport forever, like they looked at every page. Then they look in the bag with my meds and they told me that I could not take my pain medication over the border, which were trauma sets. I think they're like Percocets but stronger. Yeah, couldn't take them. But at least finally they let us go. So we drive over the border. The driver dropped me off at the bus station. I go catch the bus. So I'm sitting in that bus with all my luggage, in pain, leaking out of all these holes in my body. Just terrible. Just terrible. However, I finally make it to LA. From the bus station, I take an Uber to my Airbnb and I have survived this hell of a trip. Girl, I'm telling you, don't do it like me. After major surgery, it is very important to have someone by your side who takes care of you. And I didn't have that. I was by myself. Getting in and out of my compression garment, which is very tight, that you have to really press over your stiff, swollen body that is just in so much pain, was really the most painful part of my daily life back at that time. And one time I semi-fainted on the bathroom floor all by myself. This is very dangerous. And also the whole next 3 months were just the most painful 3 months of my life. Lipo is the most painful surgery that there is. It has one of the longest healing processes that are going very slow and are very painful. And also a BBL has the highest mortality rate in all plastic surgery. You can die in this surgery. To sum this all up, I just want to give you some important tips. First and foremost, do your research and wait. Don't do it on an impulse. Secondly, have somebody you trust to come with you and take care of you a few days after. Preferably somebody who speaks the language in that country if you decide to go to a country that you don't speak the language of. If you think that you're saving money by getting a cheaper surgery somewhere else in a different country, think again. Honestly, I think that if you add up all the costs of the flights, of all transportation for pre-op and surgery date and post-op appointments, the garment and all the boards and cushions that go in the garment and all this kind of stuff, if you add that up, you basically pay the same as if you would have gotten it in the States. In the States, yes, the procedure itself might be more expensive, but it's only a cat jump away from the comfort of your own home. And I think at the end of the day, that's worth way more because you don't have to invest all this time. Like going to Tijuana and back, that's like a full day. But here, if you go to a like post-op appointment, you go to Beverly Hills, come right back, and that's it. You know, like I think time plays also a very big role in this. I hope you learned a thing or two from my story, or at least were entertained by it. If so, please hit the like button. And if you have any more questions, please comment down below. If I didn't mention something you wanted to know, I will gladly answer that in the comments. If you would like to hear more story times and more, may I kindly remind you to consider subscribing to my channel so you will never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And just thank you for being so amazing. I love you.